The Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC features this character, Mohg, and this character, Margit, and we don't travel back in time. Here's the DLC's actual setting to be excited for in June. Now, where do we go for this DLC? Where is the Land of Shadow? The Bandai Namco pre-order website says it's a place obscured by the Erdtree. The Erdtree obviously isn't just visually obstructing this whole land. The Erdtree must be actively and intentionally hiding the Land of Shadow. This is even visible, as the Erdtree drapes a huge veil over the Land of Shadows. This land is filled with the native inhabitants of the lands between, mainly beasts, dragons, and fallen kingdoms such as Noxtella, who were wiped out by the colonial power of Marika and the Golden Order, who replaced the life-giving power that was there before them, the Bestial Crucible. I believe the part of the Erdtree that was hidden here. Talking about Crucible, you see this primordial Erdtree is literally filling a crucible, a huge vessel filling with this molten liquid. I know this feels like it could equally be time travel, but this is the Erdtree with the original creatures set just as Marika and the Golden Order arrives to push them near extinction, but I haven't explained how these characters are Mohg and Margit. First of all, they just look exactly like them. This character's facial features resemble Margit with his faded yellow shawl. This character, from marketing definitely the main antagonist of the DLC, may seem more like Rykard than Mohg, if it's a Runeberry we already know, but that's just because of this snake that would eat him. But we know what Rykard looks like human, and it's definitely not these sharp features. Mohg here uses Blood Flame, which could also be Mesmer's Flame, either just a new name for Blood Flame or a new magic type. And he also has a single-pronged version of his pitchfork and his red shawl. But where are the horns? Why aren't they cursed? How are they alive if this isn't a past setting? Note that these both can't even be true. These can't be Mohg and Margit from the past, because they're born cursed. They grow up in the sewers below Leyndell, which evidently isn't here. And here it looks like Margit is at the end of his life. The Omen curse is described as being forsaken by the Golden Erdtree, so that rather than dying and coming back as ones do under the Golden Order, they live eternally, not to return to the Erdtree when they die, kind of like dragons and the original bestial tenants of the lands between. The Omen curse is also linked to the Bestial Crucible. They grow tails and feathers that are a bit less obvious than the horns we know them for. So, what if cursed omens were tied to, or meant to be born in, the bestial Land of Shadow, and after they die in the lands between, get reborn true where they should be, as they are tied to the Bestial Crucible rather than to the Golden Order? The twist that causes conflict in the DLC here is that this land was hidden away from the Golden Order and Marika to not be conquered by them, but Mohg and Margit would both want to conquer the lands like the Golden Order, although for opposite reasons. Even despite his shunned existence, Margit still loves his family in the Golden Order and would try to conquer the Land of Shadows for them, although it doesn't seem to have gone well by his abandoned manor. Mohg continues to spite the Golden Order, who banished him to the sewers to grow up, leaving him to create his own dynasty, which, by the way, is the location at the start of the trailer and where we first get to the Land of Shadows through Miquella by, trailer quoted, touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow. We can tie cursed omens to beasts and dragons even further, as this guy, using draconic lightning and bestial magic, is a cursed omen who dresses up as if he wants to be with his bestial types. Although this probably takes place in a DLC location in the lands between, as he still has horns in a rather ruined looking Farum Azula type location, and not actually among beasts. This is all why it doesn't make sense that it's in the past. Besides, we don't actually see Marika or any evidence of the Golden Order or Leyndell, and I don't think she used humanoid Mohg and Margit when she originally conquered it. Also, this big Mohg contraption has horns, which wouldn't make any sense if this character hasn't had horns at some stage. You might go, this character has red hair, which is characteristic of Radagon and Renala's children, but Malenia has red hair. It seems very fitting that Mohg would have red hair, and why would he be talking about his mother forbidding lordship for him if that meant Renala forbidding lordship for Rykard? Moog is the one forbidden to be a lord, and Renala has been irrelevant since 10 hours into the game. Talking about other royal children, if we're going down the cursed children and go to the land of shadow when they die rabbit hole, we could make an enormous leap of logic and say that this is Melania. I know. But when I said Melania has red hair, you probably thought that's because she's cursed with scarlet rot. Exactly. Without the rot curse, she would have golden hair, not even to mention the classic butterfly magic while gracefully rising into the air. And then for the fourth and final cursed child of Marika, Miquella is the dead withered arm, but also somehow in the land of shadow, since it was to this land that Miquella departed, divesting himself of his flesh, his strength, his lineage, of all things golden. That's a big accusation, so I'll calm down. It's pretty clear in Tame that in the DLC you'll be fighting on the side of the bestial native light. It seems that you only fight with bestial stuff against Moog and Margit stuff, or these corrupted Noxtella dolls. Also, where the promised Lord Miquella is waiting for, who has divested himself of all things golden, so we're obviously not fighting for the Golden Order. Which brings the interesting question of, will Graces even be the checkpoints in the DLC areas? For me, this feels all nice and tied up, except for how Moog and Margit did all this between them dying and you going to the DLC, and who this lady is. If it's correct, I guess we'll see in June.